We're talking about this because we're about to catch up with a man who's part of a group of amateur cyclists who've just raised £70,000 for Cancer Research UK after cycling from Rome to London. Now, on the way, they met the Pope. They cycled through some incredible heat, but they also had to come up with a plan B when they lost their bikes somewhere between Heathrow and Italy. Should we find out a bit more from Barnaby? Hi, Barnaby.
Hello.
Let's start, first of all, with how this epic trip came together. So you're wanting to raise money for cancer research. How did it all start?
So we are a group under Cancer Research UK that formed in 2008 after one of our group lost his wife to cancer. And we do big rides about every 3 years. So we cycled to Gibraltar, to Monte Carlo, to Venice. And we raised 70,000 this time, but over all the rides, we've raised about 430,000.
That's an incredible sum of money, isn't it? How did you decide then to ride from London to Rome?
I'm not sure I'm allowed to say my age these days, but I'm 55, and all of us on the committee, we've been doing it now for the best part of 15 years, and we're all getting a bit older, and we wanted this one to be the big one. And one of us had contacts with the Vatican's ambassadors, and it became clear about 2 years ago that it was possible we could meet with the Pope. All of us were a little bit wary of that because so many things could happen, and it seemed so extraordinary to say, I'm going to meet the Pope. But he worked his connections, frankly, a lot, and the Pope's social agenda and what we were looking to do with cancer aligned, and therefore, in fact, we even had the Pope's office phoning us as we travelled out to Rome to check we were definitely going to be there the following day to meet him, which wasn't the way around I expected it at all.
I want to know about what it was like to meet the Pope in a second, but what's this about actually trying to get the bikes over, of course, to Italy, and then they're going missing?
So 10 of us went to Rome, and then we cycled up Italy to meet with a wider group. Another 14 were joining us in Milan, and of those 14, 11 managed to have their bicycles left behind by one of the national carriers. And Cancer Research UK were brilliant, and I have to say the media were brilliant, and contacted BA for comment that night. And so suddenly it went from, we can get your bikes there over the next week 2 by 2 to your bikes will be there in the morning. I mean, it needed a lot of planning and organisation, because on a trip like this, you're going from on a pre-planned route, pre-booked hotels for about 100 miles apart, and therefore, if there's a group of people who suddenly don't have bikes, then they had to be ferried to the next point. The minibuses that should have been supporting us riders as we did that day's 100-mile ride were instead going to the airport to pick up all these boxes with bicycles in them, and then all meet up in the new place. So there was, behind it there was a lot of organisation, and you can imagine there was an awful lot of late night phone calls with the air company to make sure that our bikes arrived and when they arrived exactly and how we were going to do it. But
well, yes, I'm glad that eventually, with the power of social media and more, you got the bikes back. But what you chose to do is go to a country where it was blazing hot. I mean, what was it like to ride in those conditions?
It was hot, and we were doing a lot of climbing. I mean, during the trip, we all did about 20,000 metres of climb, and some people chose optional extras to take that up to near 30,000. And we did things like climbing through the Alps on the Stelvio Pass, which is 2,760 miles. I've now got a tattoo in itself. The air temperature was probably in the mid-30s, but because of the tarmac, it was actually more like 40 degrees because of the heat being reflected back on you. So doing big climbs in those heat. I've never drunk so many water bottles in my life.
I can imagine. You must be the fitness of your group must be incredible to cope with that. And the good thing is at the end of a tour you get to meet the Pope. So come on then, what is it like to be in his presence?
That was amazing. He has a weekly audience on a Wednesday, and you're in an auditorium of 10,000 people, and there's probably 200 people approximately at the front who are going to meet him. And I thought he would be, a bit glazed over, just going through the motions, particularly since it all happens in 6 languages, and he spoke in Italian, so I perhaps he can speak 6 languages, I don't know, but it was all happening in other languages. But he was very interested, very involved. He came to shake each of us by the hand, and we gave him one of our cycling tops with Pope Francis on it, which he saw that as very funny, and he was clearly pleased with it. And we were indicating he was apparently going to get out of his wheelchair and come and join us and climb the Stelvio. It was far more involved than I expected, and the fact you had touched the Pope, the people in that room, then you were treated as celebrities because you had touched the Pope. So in itself was an experience, walking down this central aisle through 10,000 people with you reaching down, brushing their hands over as you walk through them because you touched the Pope.
It's like being a pop star. It's amazing.
Yeah, for a day or for 15 minutes of fame. It's amazing.
£70,000 raised for cancer research. I know you said that this was a big one, but what's next? Surely you're planning something else now.
I think, first of all of us want to sit down for a while. I want to stand up without wincing my knees. But yes, I'm sure there will be another one because we're at 430 and we would like to get to 500,000. And if I may do a little plug, we're raising money for cancer research. We're doing it because pretty much all of us in the group have been touched by cancer in one way or another. And as your listeners will have been, 1 in 2 of us is going to get cancer. And if you're willing to support us, then if you go into Google and do Inspired Living Against Cancer, you'll find our charity page with the donate buttons. Every single penny of it will go to Cancer Research UK. And we would love to go further than the 70,000 that we've got to now.
I suspect that you're going to absolutely smash it. So thank you for being on the show. It's Inspired Living UK. There, tap that into your search engine and see if you can support that lovely group who are raising money for cancer research. I've just realised that I've been nattering for so long. We're late.